That's a difficult subject. So, I mean, I've been in business now, electronics business now for 30 years.
So this is Matthew Bullis and Jeff Bullis on the left.
Jeffrey
over
Bullis here, and I'm the older one. I look like it, but yeah, I'm the older.
He just looks younger.
It's all the cosmetic stuff I do.
So talk about what, going to Mars?
Yeah, well, people are listening in. Thank you very much. This is this
Podcast.
my first podcast, actually. So I've been in electronics business. This will be my 30th year. And it has been it's not a bed of roses. Electronics is not a bed of roses. We all know that, there's offshore facilities. And we started out back in the day where we were a homegrown, small little company and $500,000 in revenue. Now we're up about 14, going to $20 million in revenue after 30 years. So
hold on for a second. What do you do?
What do I do?
What is that product that you make?
I make various products for various companies. I have an electronics contract manufacturing company in Silicon Valley, Santa Clara, and we have robotic assembly machines, handwa per se, that do very fine components and BGAs, ball grid arrays, and all kinds of other things. But we build various components for well, we do aerospace. We do rockets. We do rockets for rocket parts per se. Rocket parts. We do robotics. We do some military. I can't divulge that information because I have the NDAs, obviously, and we are currently looking at doing more for the Department of, and hopefully that'll come to fruition shortly. We do robotics for surgical robotics companies, robotics for grocery store inventory control. They go down the aisle, and they're just like this with one of those, like a Waymo car, just like this with the thing, and it counts all the inventory, and then sends it back to the back shop, puts it on a spreadsheet or a ticker tape, whatever. Not ticker tape, but they prints out a list of, it counts out all the inventory, so a person doesn't have to go. You've seen these people that go down the rows and then market it. This is 4 boxes of cereal, Post cereal here. I need 3 boxes of baking soda. Well, now it's a roboticist. Go right down, count everything, spit it out back there. A guy pulls it off the shelf, puts it in a cart, and stocks the shelves. And then he goes back down and says, okay, well, I'm going to do more of those, right? Anyways, I do those. Yeah, it is interesting. And we do, oh, goodness gracious, stuff for aircraft. We are aerospace certified, ITAR certified. ITAR is for military exportation of military items. We do rad-hard components for space, deep space. We build satellites for a couple of different companies, one here in the U.S. and one in we do these, they're called CubeSats. They're about this big, about 8 by 8 by, say, 3 feet. And they stack them up like the Starlink for Elon Musk, his spaceships. So they add that to the load where they're launching a satellite or a payload for the U.S. government or a weather satellite or whatever. They stack these things on the side, and then they're like automatic ejections as they go through the orbit, and it spits it out. And then if you have a clear sky at night, you can see the Starlinks. Anybody ever done that?
Yes.
I've seen like the little slow tracks.
Those are the Starlinks. One after another. Every few minutes, here comes another one, right? Oh, it's the most interesting thing. They sit out there like, wow.
They're dropping satellites? Is that what
Well, those are stationary. There's geo. Those are geocentrics. There's geocentric satellites. Those are the big ones. The big telecommunications satellites.
Okay.
That is off.
That's the ones in like the pictures at the Earth Station, right?
Correct. Those are the big ones. Big telecommunication, the big military satellites. Those are in geo orbit, geocentrical orbit. That's about. Don't quote me on this, but I think it's 22,000 miles up there. And the LEOs are low Earth orbit. So those are don't quote me on this either. I think it's like 10, 8, 7. Those are the ones that you see on the Starlings. Those are low Earth orbits. They're only meant to last maybe a couple of years, and then they disintegrate. Right? So they got to drop another one up there. Okay, so they can only carry so much propellant in these things to keep them in orbit.
Okay, so the propellant keeps them in orbit, and when it's done, it falls back to Earth.
Basically falls back and burns up.
Sets up.
And they're I don't know how the cost of the total unit is, probably under $20,000 or $30,000 a unit. So they're expendable. But we do that, and we do a lot of prototype boards for various companies. I just did one today for. I don't want to jinx it, but do that. We do some wafer fab units for big companies. I mean, it's all over. I do all kinds of things.
You don't have to mention companies.
Yeah, so I won't. But anyway, so I've been doing that for my own company for 30 years, and I worked for somebody for 7 years prior to that, and then previous to that, I worked in the elevator business, sales, elevators, superintendent. Prior to that, I worked for a company, a rental car company, there in San Francisco Airport, right out of college, and then prior to that, I worked at various other things, a hospital. We both worked at the hospital, Mills Hospital. So I've been doing a lot of things.
We all have different jobs. Where we start and where we finish are totally different.
Right. You never know. The only advice I can give everybody is keep going, keep moving, keep forward, keep
educating yourself, and keep going in different directions.
Learning languages.
Life changes.
Right. Just believe in yourself, believe in God, and keep going. That's all.
And the manufacturing has changed in the last 30 years when you first started to where it is now?
It is. It has. When we were first starting out, we didn't even have surface mount components. Everything was through hole. They had pins on
Pins, I remember that. Little tiny pins.
And they had holes in the boards.
Yes.
And you can go down to, they used to have Radio Shacks. I don't know if
Your
they
ship
have.
had like these things where there were little grids, and you just put it.
Right. In fact, I still have a board that Scotty built for me when he was way back when. It's still in my desk someplace. And it just has, a couple of lights on it. You flip the switch and a couple of lights light up, but it's just a printed circuit board, the components in there, and he hand soldered it. And look, Jeff, this is for you. I'm like, oh, thanks, buddy. And no function other than he did a job. But back then, when I first started, back in the 80s, it was all pin through hole. Then they started doing surface mount components, and then they were big, and they just had 2 leads on them, and they put on the top of the board. And then, of course, now 95% of it is surface mount, and sometimes it's almost 100%. Even like for cables that attach to the boards, they are surface mounted as well.
How do they connect if it's surface mounted? Before it was a pin through solder on the backside.
Solder on top.
Solder.
They have pads on top, so that everything. Let's just say they have 8 pads like this, okay?
Okay.
And the component has eight pads on each side. And so what you do is you put the printed circuit board fab. They're usually green, or they can make them yellow or blue or whatever. And they'll put them. We will buy them from the fab house, and whether they're single up, we'll put them in the machine, or they're double, or they're quadruple, or they're panelized 30 up, 50 up. You'll have a surface mount solder. Surface mount solder applicator.
Okay.
So go through the machine, you build a stencil, send it out, build a stencil that has little holes for every pad. And then that stencil will go, or that board will go into the machine. The stencil basically is there. It'll suck the board up to the stencil, and then it'll have an applicator that wipes a very thin layer of solder across the stencil, and then it'll deposit a little bit of just a little, very, very, very little. You could actually
Special.
it's a lead free. It used to be lead based, no more lead. Now it's more of a silver solder per se, with different alloys. And that'll deposit a small amount of solder paste on top of the board, and then the machine will come back and it'll go past that machine into the next machine. That next machine will look at this with the AOI, automatic optical inspection, and it'll measure the solder and make sure every pin has solder on it. And if it does, then that will kick it out to the next machine. And the next machine will come back, and that'll look, and it has three little, we call them fiducials on the board. And the machine will look at those fiducials, and it'll measure and make sure that everything is correct. And it will actually tell the machine, okay, you're good to go. And then we'll have these huge reels, multiple reels that have each component on tape, and they're fed into the machine, and it'll go bzz, and it'll suck that thing up, and the machine will go down there, and it'll pick up, 40, 50, 100 resistors, which are about very, very small, okay, or capacitors or whatever, and it'll like boom, 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 boom. We have a machine that does. We have two machines, right? One does 40,000 components per hour. The other one does 60,000 components per hour, and our second machine can actually do 60,000 components on the front side, and you can run an entirely different program on the back side with a different board, and it'll do 60,000 on that. So, and then it goes from there. Then it will go into another AOI machine that makes sure all the components are placed correctly on the board, and then it goes through. As soon as that's passed, it's a robotic. It says, okay, it's all good. Then it will go into a reflow machine, which is a very high temperature oven. It's a baking oven. And you start in a certain temperature, at room temperature, and then it escalates, and then at whatever temperature that is, 130, 140, 150, 170, depends on the solder thickness and paste. It will actually go and it'll bake the board really quickly, and the solder will melt. It'll attach the components, and then it'll start to go down, and it goes through the machine, and then by the time it cools down almost to the exit. And then we have somebody there at the end of the machine. They look at it, make sure everything's okay, everything's soldered around at a microscope. And if everything's good, then they will put that into a flying probe tester. So the flying probe will come back, look at the board, and then it has these little probes, right, tops and bottoms, and it goes, and it tests. It could test 100%, or it could test 20%. Or it can test 5%, whatever you want tested.
And 5% of the boards.
5% of the components.
5% of the components.
The ones that are failed the most.
Okay.
The company can say, I want you to do 5%, these 5 components or these 10 components out of these thousands or whatever it is, and test those, because those are my highest failure rates.
Okay.
So those will be tested. Then you can go a next step, and you can actually take that board to an X-ray machine. So we have a 3D X-ray machine that looks underneath the components to make sure you have really good solder, because you don't want a failure.
And they test for solder failure.
They don't test; they just optical. They look at it.
The testing machine, it's only testing like the microelectrical.
Only microelectrical.
Installed and anything, that's all downstream.
No, it just does a go no go test. Make sure there's connectivity.
It's just like, okay, does the resistor right there have the right
Right.
resistive
You
capacity?
understand this, yeah. And so from there, you can go to a finer test to find another optical inspection, or you can go to a functional test. I'm sorry, before you go there, before you even go there, after it comes to the wave solder machine, before it even gets to the X-ray machine, you'll run that through a wash machine. So we have a huge wash machine. It's like a 7-stage wash, and that'll take all the impurities off the board, and it comes out clean. Then it goes to
And there's standards for all this.
And there's standards for all this, that requirement for.
Everything has a standard. Everything has its minimum and maximum acceptability rates. Our shop is super clean. We believe in the 6X, like the Japanese.
Okay.
If it's the right place, if it's in this place, and this is the process, and this is the next process, and it's all clean. And I mean, we've had Japanese companies. We're partnering with a big Japanese company now, out of Japan, and they don't have a U.S. presence, and because of this all Build America tariff thing, okay, companies are coming to America, and they want to build here. They have presence in, like, this one company has a presence in Mexico, where we have 2 Hanwha lines. They have 20 Fuji lines, which doesn't do as precise job as we do, but they do a very good job, and they build for automotive. So they're like, well, we don't have a U.S. presence. Can we come partner with you? And we're sure. Bring us some business, and we'll send off our shore, because we don't have an offshore facility, and we'll send our big volume stuff off to you. And so they have 20 machines. They have a facility that can put 20 more machines in there, and they do a lot of automotive stuff. So they do about $2.4 billion in business. And now we're doing work for. Yeah, we just did that. The New Glen went up yesterday, so we're starting to do business with them. So now we're getting more into deep space. So that's the next big thing. Space, next big thing. You know, Jeff Bezos stated the other day, there'll be millions of people in space in 20 years. In space, and on the moon. Their next big rocket will be the Mars rocket. That's coming up next year. But it's all going to be space. It's all going to be deep space, mining of asteroids, mining on the moon, because asteroids have been hitting the moon for billions of years. And all those things, all those asteroids, they have special things. They have they have gold, titanium, diamonds. They all have that, right? And they hit the moon. There's no bird up, right? And they hit the moon, and they're underneath the surface. They'll be mining on the moon. There'll be companies out there traveling into the asteroid belt, right? And they'll detect minerals on these asteroids. Okay. So they will land on that asteroid, just like they did in the movie. What was it with Bruce Willis? What was that movie with?
You're the best oil driller.
Armageddon.
You're the best oil driller.
That is.
Send out the Texas oil.
That is not fantasy. That is going to be real time. We have landed on asteroids.
We have. Now, it would burn in the atmosphere if it came in, because we have an atmosphere on Earth, but the moon doesn't have that atmosphere. Right. So they just go right through it. And so it doesn't burn up. It just,
right. And if you mine it, you put it back on a spaceship.
All these rocket companies are getting their single-use rockets back down.
But we do. Well, SpaceX does the Blue Origin. They both do reusable rockets, and they come back to Earth, and you've seen them, and they sit there and they land, and they're like, wow, I just saved I don't know how many millions of dollars. Just fill it up again. It's like going to a gas station and filling up your tank. So that is real time opportunities for people that, like, what am I going to do in the next 20 years? Think about space engineering, being a pilot, being a navigator, all these robotics, engineers. Think about engineers. You don't have to build bridges on the planet, but there's all kinds of infrastructures that are going to be needed in deep space. What about the movie Elysium? You saw that with Matt Damon?
Elysium? I did not see it.
That is a real thing.
Did you see it?
That's going to be a real thing. Hopefully the Earth doesn't end up like that, but that's going to be a real thing where there'll be people living on a separate space colony orbiting Earth, and there'll be millions of people orbiting on these colonies, or going to other space colonies that are millions of light years or thousands or hundreds of light years away. That's real time. So I've been doing that 30 years.
That's interesting.
Yeah, 37 years. I worked for somebody else for 7, and I parted ways with him, started my own company. I had all I had was $50,000 in my home equity line of credit. Got a little small office the size of this living room, about 800 800 square feet. Had a desk, only had 2 legs on it. Had to put a couple milk cartons on the side.
And what did your dad?
Didn't have any money.
What did your dad tell you?
And my dad's, oh, you're gonna fail. Oh my God, no way.
What, Grandpa?
You're gonna go on your own. You're gonna give up your regular job. What about your
scary.
You need to go drive a truck. You need a pinch. I can get you in the Teamsters.
I could get you in the Teamsters.
I've been reading the news about this guy. Warren
Sell ice cream.
He bought Coca-Cola. Right now. You should invest. Right now.
He didn't even invest with back then. He was just basically he's just trying to make a living. I don't think he invested back then.
Yeah, he had a little bit.
He'd been investing for years.
He talked to a gentleman talking about my dad. He talked to a gentleman on the docks. And when we first came into San Mateo, so 1963, I would have been 5, you're 7. And there was an old man who was probably in his 60s, my age now, and he said, "Oh, you got to invest money. You got to invest 10% into the stock market." And so he started investing 10% equities into the stock market as best he could, saving money for the future. That was when I was 5 and you were 7. So yeah, put a little, as much as he could, but he put a little bit away.
He retired very well. I mean, he was a truck driver, right? He had a
Mom made $3.20 an hour as a secretary.
Right. So the key to this is start early.
Start early.
Keep investing, and eventually even a truck driver of modest means will be able to make it. And he ended up having properties, right? He owns multiple properties, not a huge one, multiple properties. And he retired at 55, wasn't it 55, 56?
60.
Did he retire at 60?
Towards the end, how much is on the assets in Coulterville?
He was fine. He was doing well.
He did fine. He did fine. More money than he could ever use. And he died at 92.
92.
Good story. Well, thank you, Jeff, for sharing that.
Good story. Well, thank you, Jeff, for sharing that.
You're welcome.
I try not to keep putting the names of the companies in. You know, I don't know if they
It
like
doesn't.
it or not.
It doesn't make any difference.
And so that industry
And so that industry has changed quite a bit, and electronics have changed over the years, and you're starting to see more reshoring coming back,
Reshoring.
and that's a positive.
One thing I should mention
Go ahead.
here, because I want to get back to this deep space thing. So I've been always fascinated with space, and everybody was in Star Trek, right?
Yeah, you were a big Star Trekker.
Big Star Trek, love Star Trek, love all that. I actually used to own
Tell me about
an
that.
Earth station.
Yeah, tell me about that.
I used to own. I bought this.
We should start another video.
I bought back in So I bought back in 2004. I found this property in Carmel Valley that was just very close to my buddy's winery. I won't mention his name, but it had 161 acres, 3 parcels, 161 acres of fairly flat land, which was very fantastic to own, because most of it in that valley, Kashawa Valley, was like steep up the mountains. But it came with a 20,000 square foot blast-proof facility.
And what
above
town
ground.
was this in?
It was in called Jamesburg. Outside Jamesburg, it was called Kashawa, Jamesburg. It was called the Jamesburg Earth Station.
Jamesburg Earth Station.
And AT&T owned it.
Okay.
And they had, because of the fiber optics that went to Japan back in the 90s, they consolidated everything and put all the data flow down to Casino Pass. And Malibu has 3 of these dishes, and this dish that I own was a 30-meter dish. It was 130 feet tall, and it would turn 359 degrees. Right?
So why was it on the market? It was it.
Oh, they didn't. It was excess inventory for them.
Okay.
The U.S. government had built this thing back in 1968 to have President Kennedy, because the Cuban Missile Crisis didn't have a good telecommunications throughout the world.
Okay.
So they built these Earth stations.
Okay.
And then they decided they're going to do the moon landing.
Okay.
So they needed telecommunications around the world. So they built a few of these Earth stations and used some of the other Earth stations. And this was built in 1968, and then the government used it for a little while. It was actually transmitted the the first
Neil Armstrong
when
stepped on the moon.
Neil Armstrong
Mm-hmm.
stepped on the moon. Okay, one small step for man, one giant step for mankind.
Yes.
Right? It was caught by the Earth Station in
Australia,
Parks,
which is a
Australia, which is a mesh
hybrid dish.
solid
I think it was 200
hybrid
feet
dish, and I think it was 200 feet across.
90 feet across.
And mine is 30 meters, 90 feet across. But I think that was 200. And it caught by Parks in Australia and beamed to Jamesburg Air Station here in California, and then Jamesburg sent it to Washington.
So-
actually Virginia,
actually
and
it was
Virginia
part
sent it to
of the
Washington.
process.
So
So actually, it was part of the process to record the first steps of man on the moon.
that is correct. And there's a funny story about.
There's a funny story, and I don't know if this is
There's a
true.
funny story, and I don't know if this is true
that was
about
a-
Neil
that was
Neil
a-
Armstrong.
That
So
was
that
a-
was a misrepresentation of what he said.
Okay.
So when he was growing up, he was living next door to his two neighbors,
Manny
Mr. and Mrs. Klein, Manny and Lenora
He
Klein.
overheard Manny.
And he overheard Manny
To their bedroom.
because his bedroom was right next to their bedroom, and he overheard Manny asking Lenora.
And Lenora told Manny,
sex
said,
He goes, Lenora told Manny, says,
you can have sex
he goes,
when a man
you can have sex
walks on the moon.
when a man walks on the moon. And he overheard this. And so when Neil Armstrong went on the moon, supposedly he goes, one small step for Manny, one giant step for man Klein. Go Manny. He's gonna get laid tonight. I don't know if that's true or not.
So why did you
I
buy
think that's a
this?
joke.
I mean, you didn't live up
So why did you buy this? I mean, you didn't live up there. You lived in the Bay
I
Area.
just bought it for the land.
Right there.
Just an investment.
Acres,
Right there.
just for fun. Just
Deer,
fun. Deer, pigs,
ranch
turkeys, all kinds of stuff.
Right by
A million
Carmel by the
ground
sea.
squirrels to shoot.
If you had an indoor
Relaxing. You need
Yeah.
Just
You had an indoor.
relaxing. You need an escape.
You had an indoor shooting range. I know.
Stripped the inside of it, made an indoor shooting range, basketball court, made bedrooms out of the
Derek was up
offices.
there, and you were
I remember Derek was up there, and you were shooting
Scooter at the top
pistols.
of the dish. The weeks
Yeah.
he moved it up. It was the
That's
top
right, we
of the
put it
town.
flat.
Yeah,
That's right, we put it flat.
put it
up,
flat.
and no one had seen it move in 20 some odd years or
rode a
something.
scooter on
And you and rode a scooter on the top of the
Some
dish.
Random guy came out. And I was like, I'll go up there with you.
rolled up the dish.
16 years old. I'll go.
Crawled up the dish.
I think we flattened it. We put it flat. Right?
You put it flat.
Put it up. And then two guys went up.
Sure
enough, Matt Bull.
You peeked his head over. Dad was looking up. Ah!
A heart attack.
No safety.
Yeah, but there was no safety. No safety.
6 stories.
And maybe 6 stories up there.
Actually, it's 10 stories.
10 stories up. Your son's looking over the edge, going, "Hi, hi." Freaking your parents
Run
out.
up the side because you can't just walk it out.
There were a couple bullet holes.
Quarter-inch aluminum.
A few and bullet holes. So somebody was using it for target practice.
I'm assuming some of the nearby ranches. Yeah.
He had mentioned that him and his brother had shot at the dish.
Yeah.
Okay.
The next door neighbors and hit it.
Yeah.
And sent the FBI out there.
Boys in the
Big
90s.
investigation because you're destroying government property.
Couldn't find the bullet holes
They found the bullet holes, but couldn't find the two guys out there.
that were shooting.
You guys grew up
But
in
the word went out.
the 70s. I'm sure you guys would have made a target
Yeah,
practice.
the word went out that this is government property. You will go to jail for a very long time if you damage government property. So don't be shooting bullet holes in the dish.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I remember it as a 20,000 square.
Yeah, I remember it as a 20,000 square foot man cave. It was huge.
Beautiful. It had center block walls, two double center block walls, rebar,
In between the two.
concrete, in between the two rebar, the two holes in each cinder block hole, right? And had these huge blast doors. They were 2 foot thick, and it came out.
Yeah, the outer walls were.
Right, and the outer walls, and it had its own filtration system. So if you, it was built to withstand a 5 megaton blast at 3,000 yards. So that's 9,000 feet.
And it was like the perfect, you were mentioning Y2K bunker or something back?
Yeah, and I had it up for sale back in 2012. I put it up for sale. I was going to sell it. And then we had CBS station out of Salinas. Picked it up because it was on advertising through the Monterey Herald or something like that. They picked it up for the real estate agent, something, I don't know how. They came out, did an interview on it, and then the Monterey Herald did an interview. The New York Times came out, did an interview. I'm on the real estate page, front page of the real estate back in that day. They came out, did an interview. Atlantic Monthly did an interview of me. The LA Times did an interview. The Orange County Register. I was actually interviewed by NPR, National Public Radio, and they did a I think it was a 45-minute interview, 35-minute, 30-minute, I forget what it was. But back in the day, so I calculated all the people that would listen to this particular cast at that time. Didn't have podcasts, had those kinds of
Yeah.
It was
Wasn't the New York Times talked about the Y2K?
Wow.
story.
And wasn't the New York Times talked about the Y2K?
Well, that's
It
what
was the best. It was all about.
The Mayan calendar. The place is going to shut down. Where do you go?
Right.
And I had the perfect bomb shelter.
You had the perfect bomb shelter up
I
there.
didn't have to go in a silo.
You just go inside.
Yeah, go inside. So
That was a great story.
It was fun. But times changed, and the government actually came back. I'm not going to tell you what branch of the U.S. government, but a branch of the U.S. government approached me, and they asked to buy it back. And for the fair market value of what I was asking for it, and so they picked it up, and c'est la vie. That's really good. They have more money for the roof and the parking lots and the septic systems that are
It takes a lot of
failing,
effort, a lot of maintenance
almost
to keep those things
It takes a lot of effort,
lot of money.
a lot of maintenance to keep those big buildings up, and asphalt and fence lines and 160 acres and
weed abatements,
All that
exterior
thick
paint,
cinder
the
block,
roof.
concrete,
They did all that, and
and all the machinery in the dish.
And the last I heard is they were going to actually refurbish the dish and all the electronics. And this is 3 years ago. I heard this story.
Interesting.
Just in case they wanted to make it
just
function.
in case.
wow, interesting.
Just in case they wanted to utilize it.
Just in case.
We used to transmit. We
Signals off the
transmitted
moon.
signals.
Yeah, you said ping signals off the moon.
We would. That's it. We would send a hello, hello, hello to the moon, and it would bounce off the moon and come back, and it goes hello, 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 and that's actually how the story on the side of the story. This is how the Department of Defense back in the Cold War would gauge or would figure out how Russia was detonating atomic bombs on the surface, because the sound from the atomic bomb would go echo off the moon, and depends on the size.
Then they could figure out the
how
location
quick it
and the
would respond.
Okay, then they could figure out the location and the intensity.
Right, because the moon would sit like there, right, and then from these earth stations, they would just listen to the moon, and they heard boom,
Kind of hinted that was.
and that's how they gauged when the Russia, the Chinese were detonating,
surface bomb.
or the French, they did that in the
And we did that.
Yeah, surface bombs.
surface
I think in the
bombs, right?
desert.
So,
And we did that also somewhere. We did it, I think, in the desert over by Vegas.
oh, and another piece of trivia. So back in 84
think
Tiananmen Square?
Okay.
84?
They hacked into
The Chinese?
I think so.
Okay. They hacked into the Chinese telecommunications, and that news reel was not supposed to leave the country of China. They hacked into that with that guy with 2 shopping bags standing put in front of that tank.
Yeah.
And they had that news story, and they hacked into it, and that's how everybody else does
The
it.
Earth Station was
That's
very
amazing.
They
interesting.
tacked into it.
That was interesting. The Earth Station was a very interesting tidbit of your time for the last 20 years. This was weekend extra on the side. It was weekend stuff. This was not your.
So shooting the rifles off, having a good time with the guys. We built a cannon. Did you hear about my cannon?
No, I don't remember that.
Cannon. We built a cannon out of a 4-inch or 6-inch pipe. Had a piece of big 6-inch pipe that was probably about 4 foot long. And I had my buddy Andy Farabee put in a coupling on it, and with a 2-inch piece of pipe in the front. And we put it on a little trailer that we got from my buddy at the ranch, and it had a little elevator on it, just a piece of rod, and you could elevate it up or down.
Was this like shooting a potato cannon?
It was a potato cannon. So what we did is on the back end, we put it down to where it would be, so whatever, so much, and you could put in, unscrew the cap or a hole in the back of it, and you could shoot in hairspray if you wanted to.
Right.
We started with hairspray, okay, and then we would stuff. Actually, golf balls. We used to shoot a lot of golf balls out of it. We had millions of golf
Good old
balls.
time
We
cannon.
put it in a rag, put it in a golf ball, just like the cannons back
They
then.
didn't have
Just a good old time cannon.
Revolutionary War, right? And then you would
But they didn't have hairspray back then.
Well, we started with hairspray and we shot out a golf
I think you guys
ball.
eventually got over like
Yeah,
kerosene or
we
something.
shot out no, we actually went farther than that, I have to tell you, that's a funny story. So we started out with hairspray, okay, it went 20 feet, okay? Then I'm like, well, what else can we use here? And we went with, like with a benzene spray or an alcohol spray, and then I had this acetylene
perfect.
oxygen tank in the shop.
Oh, perfect.
And I told my buddy Andy, I said, what if we put in acetylene gas?
Yeah.
And mix it up and put it in there. And he goes, acetylene is the most flammable product there is that I could have to think about. That's just like, that's crazy. He said. I go, well, let's try it.
But first, let's reinforce the pipe.
Well, no, we didn't reinforce anything. Let's try it. We had one of those long liners for the barbecue.
Let's go with a long lighter.
Get the reinforcement and just take a couple steps extra back.
So, anyways, we had that. You know what?
And
I
if
filled
we
it up,
get
right?
if we get
Because he
fire
didn't
on
want
us,
to
we have
touch
a
it.
beer.
And if we get fire on us, we have a beer.
Well, we had a beer, and then we had the fire extinguisher, and if it blows up, we had the masks on and everything, and eye protection, and had the big welding gloves on. And I'm like, okay, let's try it. And I shot that thing, and it went kaboom. And that golf ball was gone. I think maybe about 300 or 400 yards. I was trying to shoot it into the dish. It was flying.
Way over the top. Overestimated.
Oh, he goes, let me try that. So I'm like, okay, fine. And we re-elevated it. We stuffed another golf ball with a rag, and he put it in the acetylene this time. And then he's like, okay, but he couldn't light it with the lighter wouldn't light. So he was a smoker back then. So he takes out his Bic lighter, right? And he goes to put the Bic lighter. He can't light it with the glove on, so he takes the glove off. Has the glove on the left hand. Has the Bic lighter on the right hand. He goes and lights it, right? It goes kaboom, and all that shit hits his hand and burns his hand. His hand's all black with the acetylene, and he's standing with the glove on the left hand, and the burnt hand and all the black marks on the right hand with his lighter. He goes, "What is wrong with this picture?" His hand's all black.
The lighter with that glove.
Oh, my God.
Oh my God! Yeah, that was. But there was, like I said, there was a little alcohol involved.
There you go.
We like those. That was a relaxing time. The guys would go out there, bachelor party, and just sit out there at a big
Pit.
fire pit. And
Fire pit.
my guy that was working on the ranch would fill that up for us, and every time we come out,
Octavio?
forget surgery, I think his name was.
Oh,
I
Octavio.
would bring down 5 gallons of diesel for the tractor, and then we spray the diesel on top of that thing
And get it going.
fire up, and we'd have a bonfire, I'd have barbecues out there, have wine or beer or whatever, and it was a decompression time for us because life in Silicon Valley and the trials and tribulations and the stress factor of the electronics business and traffic and all that. It was a good time. So I bought it for that, but I bought it for the land, maybe some cattle, did hunting property. My buddy had
Yeah, you had about 20,
16 head.
16 head of cows, and you harvest one every year or so.
I was just trying to do 3.
3 a year.
One for myself and split it with the family units, right? Then I'd take the other one, I would donate that to my charity, the Brotherhood of St. Anthony's up there in Half Moon Bay. And they would like split it in half and have 2 tickets, and one person live auction would buy half a cow, and the other one buy the other half.
Okay.
We would take it to the Freedom Meat Walkers, have them process it.
And didn't you bring one to home to the business?
I took it to the business
Yeah.
with all the employees, and
You have it all processed.
had it all processed.
Hamburger
Well, probably about 400 pounds
of hamburger or beef
It was hamburger, roast, steaks,
chopped up.
chopped up.
Freedom Meat
frozen.
Company.
I'd go down there with the company van and take that for the weekend.
It was all frozen.
And I'd put that, and I'd put these in boxes.
Frozen meat.
Frozen, and I'd come to work. And then I'd have my workers out there and divvy up 40 or 20 bucks, 30 bucks.
Steaks to everyone.
And then everybody gets a little steak, a little hamburger, a roast, blah, blah, blah. And, and just give everybody, and they were so happy. I mean, that was a fantastic deal.
That's a good deal.
Make you feel good, right?
Make you feel good. Everybody gets 10 pounds of meat, 40 employees.
Times change, things change. They sold that back to the government, I think in 2016 or 2017.
It was earlier than that, I thought.
I can't remember the exact date, something like that. But it was good.
8, 10, 12, 15 years
It's like a
ago.
boat.
10, 15 years.
Yeah, it's like a boat.
Like, what do you mean like a boat?
Well, the best days of your life, right?
Right.
The happiest days of your life, the day you buy a boat,
Right?
and the day you sell the boat.
Sell the boat.
Same thing with the air station. I was so happy to buy it.
Right?
I didn't know what I was getting into. I mean, the electricity bill was like $2,000 a month. It was like crazy. But I was so glad to get rid of it, and I made money. Yeah, I made money on it. So
Yeah, appreciated.
it's the thing that's real estate. You never, ever really lose money on real estate unless there's a huge catastrophic.
Yeah, you can lose money, like you said, recession
It's
areas.
like, usually.
Hard to sell.
Nice chunk of land.
Well,
That
it
house
was-
on the bottom of the hill.
But it was hard to
huge
sell
dumps of
it.
hills,
Nobody,
yeah.
they had people that always looked at it. But there's a lot of looky doos, looky woos, and I just found one person that finally had the money for the air station. That was the U.S. government because they have unlimited funds. That's because they raise our taxes. So that's about it. That's my story.
Great story.
I'm just kind of here with you guys, hanging out. I'm going back to Florida tomorrow, and that's where I live in the wintertime, and summertime I live in Oregon. So I'm just turned 70.
That's good.
Even though it's a good time.
Oh, if you break this in half, the third thing would be, you live in Florida. In what town do you live in?
Inglewood.
Inglewood, and then and you live close to the water.
I live right on the
So
on the
we've had a
estuary,
couple of
which is off
hurricanes
the
this last 2 years,
coastal.
and what's your theory on
So we've had a couple of hurricanes this last 2 years, and what's your theory on hurricanes? Every other year, tell me about what's happened in the hurricane season, and has it affected you at all?
Well, we've had 3 hurricanes in the last 4 years.
3 in the last 4 years.
We had Ian back in 2022, nothing in 2023.
So what? Yeah. What?
And Ian,
What damage did you get on Ian?
I lost roof tiles, and I lost my pool cage. And
So
I lost
the
the roof and the pool cage.
So in Florida, they have these big cages to keep the bugs out, right?
You need those big.
You really need them to keep the bugs out, and they're around all the outdoor pools.
Right. So we lost the pool cage, lost a few tiles on the roof. Nothing dramatic.
So that wasn't too bad.
Right. But the winds were Oh my goodness, I think the winds were up to 175 miles per hour.
And were you there during this event?
Of course, I was there. Took my flagpole, laid it down flat on my lawn.
Laid it flat.
Laid it flat.
So there's usually a bolt in there, and they cut the bolt or knocked it down.
It just
sheared it, probably.
Bent it.
Shear it. Just took
Bent
the
it.
flat
Oh,
pole,
just bent it
put
over.
Okay.
Put a little kink in it.
Put a little kink on it. I took the sawzall and I cut that off, and I took the old piece out and I put the new one in. It's just the flagpole's just 2 feet shorter than it was when I bought it. So I did that, and so Ian took that out.
So you made all those repairs.
Repaired that, and then the next year, 2023, no issues.
Perfect.
2024, last year.
What happened
Helene
last year?
came, and Helene was 24 inches of water.
So
in
was it the
48
hurricane
hours.
or the water swell?
Well, it's a hurricane. It's
But
a
what?
hurricane.
But how do you get the water? What?
Well, what happens? Helene passed the coast of Florida very slowly.
Okay.
And just drenched our area.
Okay.
And then it was the king tide. So the king tide comes in, and then the water could not drain to the estuary. So
Okay.
the water was up to the seawall. And
Okay.
It couldn't get past. So it flooded everything up, and it almost came into the house.
Well, how did that flood? Because you're on a hill. You have along the water. You have a retaining wall, and then you're up on the retaining
It
wall.
went over the retaining wall.
So it looks like from your house, you're at least 10 feet above the water.
I think we're 8 feet
Above the water.
above the water line, and Helene came up almost 8 feet.
washed
So it was about a foot from the house.
Okay.
So what had happened is just flooded everything. The streets were flooded. The yard was flooded. The water could not go anywhere, so it just came up to it. So
Okay.
then it passed and everything receded, and we were like really, really happy. 2 weeks later, or 3 weeks later,
Okay.
Milton came.
A second
And
hurricane.
Milton came and actually landed Siesta Key, which is about 11 miles, 10 miles.
Right.
from us.
Yeah, it's about 10 miles from your house.
And a hurricane, you have to remember a hurricane, it had Ian hit Port Charlotte 2 years prior to that.
Okay.
Fort Myers. And a
Okay.
hurricane in the northern hemisphere goes counterclockwise,
Okay.
whereas a cyclone in the southern hemisphere goes clockwise.
Okay.
Okay, so it was Ian came up, hit Fort Myers, went counterclockwise, sucked all the water out of our estuary, okay, and drenched those guys, okay.
Okay.
Helene and Milton went past us, or Milton hit us higher, so they went counterclockwise, so it brought storm surge into our areas, and then we had the king tide, and so we were a little 8 feet above sea line, the water line. It came in about 9 feet and brought a foot of water around the outside the house and about 16 inches to the garage, which is about 6 inches lower than the outside of the house. And so it brought water into the house.
And how did it get into the house?
Underneath the doors.
Just seeping under the door.
Underneath the
So even though the doors are shut, you've got a foot of water along that door.
The garage door, has
And
like a little
little
thing on it, right?
On the sides are open. It just bubbled through,
Underneath the garage door.
and the low water will just find a way, and it just. And you got how much water in?
2 inches of water. But it gets under the baseboards and it seeps up into the walls. So you have to remove 2 feet of sheetrock around the whole house.
So you had approximately 2 inches of water throughout the whole house.
Yeah, throw away all the cabinets.
And because of that, what is the procedure that you have to
You have to
fix?
strip everything. You have to throw out all the rugs. You have to throw out all the cabinets.
The cabinets get water damage.
Yeah, and you have to actually get some guys come in the house and they do a snap line, and they snap it up to 2 feet, and then they take those Dremel tools and bzzz, and they cut everything around the house 2 feet.
Okay.
Remove the sheetrock and the insulation,
Okay.
and then they dry the whole house.
Okay.
They'll take a dehumidifier and they'll exhaust the house, and then they superheat the house.
Dry it all up.
104, 105 degrees.
Okay.
Dry it all out.
Termites, same thing.
And then they come in and they spray all the studs for a antifungal for mold.
Okay. A mold spray.
Spray around the whole house. And then
All the studs.
And then the next crew will come in and then they'll put everything back together again.
Okay. One crew demos. Another crew comes in, sprays the fungus.
Well, that's it. First crew came in, sprayed everything. Second crew comes in, puts the sheetrock in.
Humpty Dumpty puts it all back, tape and texture.
The insulation, sheetrock, baseboard, and supposedly casings, doors had to be thrown away, cabinets, kitchen cabinets.
Now, why'd you have to throw the doors away in the cabinets?
Because the doors were hollow core doors.
Okay.
If they were solid core, you wouldn't have to throw them away.
So hollow core.
Doors suck up the water,
Okay.
get inside of it, and then you got to throw them away because you get warm. So,
And then the cabinets, why do you have to throw the cabinets away?
they're all presswood. Everything that you have today is all presswood. I mean, back in the day, it was always
So it swells up.
swells up and expands, and
Okay.
it just
How about electronics in the kitchen?
all the appliances had to go
Why?
because all the electronics are down below, like a refrigerator.
Yeah.
So it doesn't tip over.
Yeah.
All the electronics is down on the ground,
So now what you have is water in that electric motor.
and it starts not only the electric motors, but any of the wiring. Salt will deteriorate all of that,
Okay.
and eventually it'll start a fire. So they said basically it's better, you can keep it, it was working, but you might start a fire. So do you really want to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning with your house on fire? I don't think so. Throw it all out.
So now you had to throw away the fridge, I think the microwave.
No, the microwave was up high. I had to throw away the refrigerator, the stove, the freezer, the washer, the dryer, the dishwasher.
All had to go. And what else had to be thrown? All the furniture, TVs, electronics?
Furniture was all good, actually. It was all about, it was up on stands.
Okay.
They were 3 inches up on stands. So
Washer dryer had to be go?
washer dryer's gone. So
Okay.
take a chance.
Okay, the furniture was pretty much okay. So anything else you had to throw
I
in?
had to throw away my wife's car. She had a nice little Porsche.
That's right, the Porsche.
Porsche Cayman S.
And it was flooded.
Flooded about a half-inch in the floorboards.
Okay.
And of course, all the wires go down there for the and so the insurance says no. We're gonna just we have to scrap it.
Scrap that car. It was a beautiful car.
Oh yeah. Well, they offered her 60 cents on the dollar. She fought for it, right? Her. She got. I think it was like 85 cents on the dollar. She showed them, this is a replacement car. This one you have to be 35,000 instead of 24,000.
Right.
She got it.
Good.
Now she has a nice red one, 2008, much better.
And outside, you had outside furniture, jacuzzi, all that.
I didn't. The pool was flooded, so the pool was all full of brackish water. Had to pump that out.
You would replace the screens over the pool. Did it get damaged the second
No,
time?
it didn't. I don't know why. It didn't get. We didn't have that high of winds. Just a lot of water.
A lot of water, no wind.
The jacuzzi, it didn't function. Although I had the guys come back and they looked at it. So they said the motor should be fine, but I don't know. I'll be going back there tomorrow, and I'll be filling it up, and
Now-
hopefully the jacuzzi will work again.
I want to ask you on one of this.
Whole lot of electronics in there.
It's up higher,
It's a fire.
but the motor's down below.
Yeah, that's the pump.
So if it goes in there, and it didn't, it worked last year, but will it work this year?
Yeah.
I mean, I even had like a motor there.
Like you said, salt damage. The jacuzzi's already pulled so much power.
So we'll see. If I turn it on and trips the breaker, I have to call the guys out.
Now, you also had an ornamental fiberglass Buddha, 6-foot high Buddha.
Poor Buddha.
What happened to Buddha?
It actually floated away. It floated away, and I lost Buddha. It was a very, very, very.
Did you ever find Buddha?
It was actually across the channel. I saw it out of the corner of my eye, sitting in somebody's yard. So I drove over there and asked him if I could grab my Buddha back.
You brought Buddha, so Buddha's back. Big, full Buddha's back.
This time I bolted him down. Last time I used Gorilla.
2-inch bolts on them.
I did the real big lags.
Big old lags into
And I
the
bolted him down to the.
Hey, Buddha, you're gonna survive the next hurricane. You're not going nowhere, buddy.
So-
Stick it around.
I re-glued him with more Gorilla Glue. Actually, I glued him the first time at Ian. We had 175 mile an hour winds. Both Buddhas made it.
Okay.
Because I just glued it. I didn't bolt it. This time when the water came up, it's a hollow situation, fiberglass hollow, and it just floated it up. We couldn't withstand it. So.
Okay, so
Buddha's back.
now your house is all back together. Humpty Dumpty, you got it all back the way you want. And what retrofits did you learn from this lesson over the last few years from 2 hurricanes? What have you done to upgrade the house?
Oh, so what I did is I bought a 14.4 kilowatt solar system for the roof.
Put solar on. Don't you think it's going to float off the road?
They're all
Anchored down. Okay. So why solar?
It's insured. And then I bought 2 Tesla battery packs.
Okay. So now you have electronics,
Now everything can operate 24/7.
Hopefully the Tesla's not on the ground. It's up there so the flood doesn't come
It
in.
is, but the electronics are 3 feet up. So I
Okay.
have to get 3 feet of water in there.
Okay.
And then I put in flood dams.
What about the windows? Okay. Flood dams.
Flood dams around the whole house. Every entryway has a
What's a flood dam?
2-foot flood dam. You put channels in the side because I have stucco. Or not stucco, but I have concrete. Not concrete, but I have cinder block. Cinder block homes in Florida.
Okay.
Hurricane. Cinder blocks, so they poured in. Anchored in these channels, and they glued them, and they have like a urethane sealant on there. And you have these flood dams that have a grommet on 3 sides.
Okay.
You drop them in the channel. And as these locking devices, you lock them in place, right? And then it seals.
So that's with the system, you lock them in place. So it's a rubberized grommet. It's basically a double door.
It's a double door, and so those are 2 feet
And where would you put these?
in front of every entryway.
So you have a sliding door in the back, a 3.0 door on the garage, entrance door, 4.0 entrance door, 2 sliders. You have one in the master,
I have 3 sliders.
3 sliders. So all of the sliding doors are all covered.
And the garage is covered, and that has 2 foot in front of it. And then what I did, in case the water goes over, so if you have a hurricane and it blows the water
On the top,
over the top, and it comes down, and then it floods underneath.
yeah.
Then I have a separate dam behind the garage door with a sump pump that pumps out to the outside.
Okay.
If it gets 3/4 of an inch of water in there, it'll start at 2 inches of water.
So you have it plugged in while you're gone, and then it pumps. If it gets water, it will pump out, and you've got it. You have it piped to the outside.
Right, and then I have these water dams behind it that you fill up, bought them from Amazon, and they just sit on the floor, and you fill them up with a garden hose.
Okay.
And then they sit on the floor, and then water won't come up to them, and then they won't go past that.
Okay.
I mean, that last hurricane was only there for 2 hours. 3 hours, right?
I know previously you did something with the front door and the windows. What did you do there?
Previously,
You had other windows. You did some window replacement.
Oh, yeah, that wasn't hurricane. I mean, I have hurricane shutters, but that was just double insulated.
Okay. What did you do to the front door?
It's fiberglass. Put in a fiberglass door.
Is that a rated door versus the old door?
Yeah, it's rated hurricane.
Hurricane proof.
Hurricane is very resistant.
Resistant.
Nothing's hurricane.
Now the windows, if they're just double insulated, how do you cure the windows from breaking? You said something about
I have
storm
hurricane shutters,
shutters,
and they lock in place.
and they're on the exterior. So you slide them on sliders, lock them down before you go.
Right, so shut everything down. You have all the systems. Then, of course, I have all my security cameras all ready to go. There, I can monitor the house from afar, and you do what you can do. So,
Excellent. So now you're prepared for the next hurricane.
hopefully, they don't. The last one is starting to go back out to the Atlantic. That's where you want to go. I don't want to say bad news for anybody else. But it's very rare that we had hurricanes come up that Gulf Coast. It's never happened before. It's like 40, 50 years.
First time up the Gulf Coast.
Yeah, we had 3 of them in 3 years.
Usually they come in on the.
Atlantic side, or they'll go up towards Galveston or New Orleans.
Okay.
But very rarely do they
Do
come
they
right
up and
down.
take a hook a right and come right under that
Go
coast?
up to the panhandles, all that. But it's very rare they came up to. Well, we got
That
Luck of the draw.
flow causes that or something that the Gulf Stream or something like that that creates that warm temperate climate that doesn't.
It just comes up there. They all say it's global warming, but it's not really global warming, is it? It's too many people. Right? There's 8.2 billion people on the planet, and there used to be only like there's a billion back in 1900. There's only Jesus Christ walked the earth back in the Roman days. There's 540 million people. anyways, it's not global warming, it's people. Anyway, so it's fun. That's my story.
It's a good story. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. It's good stuff. So, what other good tidbits that you have? How about the ranch growing up? We used to have fun out there.
Just keep talking.
My grandparents had that dairy farm in El Nido,
El Nido, California.
Merced,
And how many years did our grandparents, Joaquin and Anna Gomes, how many years did they live out there?
Was it 42?
44 years
4 years.
with 7 days a week. Let's see, 3 in the morning and 3 in the afternoon.
Start milking at, I think it was milking. He got up at 3 o'clock, 3:30.
Yeah, they milked in the
Milking was 4:30.
4:30, and then 12 hours later another 4:30.
3 milkings a day.
3 milkings a day. 3 milkings a day.
In the summertime was 3, and the wintertime was 2. I'm not sure what it was, but they had 3 milkings a day.
Well, when we were that age, we had fun. How did we keep ourselves entertained? About the chickens. What did we do with the chickens?
We catch chickens.
How did we catch them?
We bait. We take the corn.
Put corn out.
Put the corn out there and put some baling rope.
Yes, the twine.
Twine.
Make a noose.
Make a noose, and then we catch it.
And get-
chickens step in there. And
We'd look through the cracks, and when they eat the boom, and then we would tie them up, and they'd sit there for hours.
Grandma would be like, "How come that chicken stop moving?" Joaquin be out there. "Ah,
It's tied up.
those kids, yeah, those kids.
Good times. And one time I was
You're not just remembering the bad times. are you?
no, the good times.
The good times.
Well, the good times. You were ditching me with my cousin Phil, and I went up the manure pile, and it was it was pretty deep. It wasn't deep at all. It looked flat and dry, and you said it was dry, so I ran back and I took off running. And I went to jump it. It looked like it was only about 5 or 6, 10 feet. And I ended up jumping down into the manure pile up to my armpits. Remember that? I was up to my arms, stuck.
I think that's why you have so much hair.
And Grandma was so mad. She basically I had my white church shirt on and my black pants, black shoes, church shoes, and I was up to my armpits in manure. So
It was like Thanksgiving weekend. And
Dad was there. Dad had to go out in his rubber boots, pluck his son out of the manure, and drag him over. And Grandma's house was just spotless inside. Doily, hardwood floors, doilies. It was spotless and no manure. Even though they lived on a dairy ranch with 85 cows, no manure came in the house. And believe it or not, she wouldn't let me into the house, into the tub, and they stripped me naked on the front lawn and hosed me off with the cold garden hose before I could go in. It was just good times. Then had me have a shower. So those were times. We had good times out there, running around and shooting BB guns, and it was all good. It was all good during those time periods.
Do you
So
guys have like a story where you guys are shooting off 22s across like the corner?
we're not going over that.
Did you guys get yelled at for that one?
good stories.
Bring up that memory.
That's my dad was always telling Matt remember all the
Bad things.
Don't you remember anything good?
War, PTSD about some of them. About
We had some good stuff. We used to ride the mini bike down to Rothfuss's store, which was about a half a mile away. We get more BBs.
We get to ride the goat every once in a while.
He would put us on the billy goat. That was terrifying, hold us up there because the spine was like that, and it seemed like it would rip a 6-year-old boy apart.
Tio Tony, our Uncle Tony, our Granduncle Tony would be walking down to the rows, from the pond to the where the cattle would run, and they had a hot fence line.
They had electric fence.
Fence line, and he would be.
What would he do?
Here for a second.
What would he do?
And he'd grab your arm, right? And
He'd
then
say-
grab the line.
And he would laugh. He thought that was funny. Hey, kitty, 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 kitty. Come here. And the key was, if he grabbed the one boy, if he grabbed me, then I would try to grab it, because the last boy got it. So, and every boy's running and screaming and gonna pee their pants. And yeah, he did that.
Grab someone.
He would, and they would squirt us with milk from the cows. Hey, kitty, 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 kitty. Good times. That was good times. And I went next door, and we went and got a sack full of cotton. We picked cotton once. We went to the Tino Noonses and picked up a sack of cotton, and I brought it back. And believe it or not, Grandma had made us 2 shirts when we got back the next week. She had taken that cotton and made us 2 shirts out of it. That's what she said. She took that cotton and made linen and dyed the linen and made us a couple of shirts.
Well, back then you didn't know where anything came from.
Good times.
She took raw cotton and just
Spun it out, dyed it, perfect.
stitched it all together.
We were rambunctious kids, and we were hard on that ranch, and we got dirty all the time. And Grandma was such a fanatic about cleanliness that Mom would only give us blue jeans to wear. She goes, I don't know why I didn't bring shorts. But she cut off shorts, but she would only give us blue jeans to wear, and we'd be wearing blue jeans out there in the summertime. It'd be 95, 100 degrees, 105 degrees, and we'd always go for the pond or the canal, get mud on our
What was your
cuffs.
sister up to? Would she be like, Mom, the boys are at it again?
She'd be hanging around with Grandma.
It'd be in the house.
Yeah, she'd be in the house. And we used to come back, we'd be filthy dirty. And Grandma used to be, Yvonne would be so mad because she wanted to be so clean. She wouldn't just give us dirty clothes to wear. She'd have to give us new clothes to wear the next day. So she would actually have to wash those blue jeans. And she had the old tub.
Ringer, the ringer tub. I had a ringer.
She had to wash clothes every day.
Hang them outside to dry. So I remember socks and underwear. She had a porch. You came into the porch. You didn't come into the rest of the house. And you had a porch, screened-in porch with where she did where Vul would cut her hair and she did the laundry. And socks and underwear. You stripped down to socks and underwear, and then you would have to go in the house and go immediately and take a bath. Socks and underwear. Every day.
We were filthy.
Yeah, come in the door.
Treated you like,
Strip right here.
elimination process.
Yep. Strip right here, socks and underwear. Good times. But yeah, little white house in the middle of 80 acres with probably 85 cows. And
160. He had 160.
he had 80.
I had 80.
80, and they had 85 cows.
Oh, I thought he had more.
No, and I tell my farming friends now, they had a big dairy operation in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, 85 cows. Everybody now is 3, 4, 5, 6,000 cows, 85 cows. That's so tiny. But it was before they milked by hand, and then they got the pots. They milked in a pot, and then they would take the pot over to, and they would
They were at B dairy.
a bee so that
An A dairy, so that a certain amount of fly.
it wasn't as
matter was
it was cheese.
cheese.
It was cheese milk.
Cottage cheese or just cheese?
Cheese, whatever. B is cheese, not grade A milk.
Got to be cleaner at that time.
Yeah,
Grade A has to be very clean.
a lot cleaner. So these smaller ones would do
You get more money
cheese.
for grade A milk than you do for grade B because they would pasteurize it. And so yeah, those are good times, right?
Those are
Be
good.
out there and watch Vul with that tractor, and he was. My mom always said that he knew how to be really good on those rows, you know, on the back of the tractor, and they didn't have any laser cutters back then. It's just a little eyeballing, you know, and he'd out there and
Is that a little bit of farmer pride? He's like,
get those rows straight.
Get those rows
Get
nice
that
and
first
straight.
row straight. After the first row straight, get the rest of them all straight.
Right.
So Vul had that row straight.
We had BB guns, shot everything that moved.
Everything and then some.
We would, and he would disc in the field with the big discers, and the blackbirds would come in and get the bugs and everything. So we figured it out. So we would sit on the end of that last 6 inches of the
guys go?
discer and shoot the birds as they came in.
You guys said we go to the whole store, get a big old
They would give us
milk carton.
50 cents a day or 25 25 cents, whatever it is. You could buy a whole thing of offices
Couple hundred?
for a
100
half.
We'd have a sleeve, we would
Maybe
call
it
it.
was 10 cents, a sleeve, was whatever.
Sleeve or circle.
And then it
hundred
was a good half mile to offices, right?
Walk down there to
And then on
offices.
the way back, and then a lot of times, if you want to shoot stuff, you'd shoot it on the way back.
You could burn.
You
could-
Through about 25% of your.
You would. I think it was like 200 BBs in the sleeve, and we could rifleman and shoot all the way home, shooting anything that moved.
They would give us some coins, 25 cents or whatever, to go buy another sleeve because that was cheaper than the mischief on the ranch. Right? So it's like, if those kids are occupied for 2 hours,
25
going down and coming back, that Vaugh was like happy. Keep them out of the house, right? You
Not in the
feed 'em.
bullpen.
Well, we were making our own money when they would have the festa. We would run around and we did certain things.
Once a year.
Yeah, but we would collect bottles. It was like 10 cents if you collected bottles in the case. And so I remember we make $3 or $4 at the festas. So those were all good times. That was they were on that ranch 1924 to 1968, so 44 years. So this was the 60s. Good times. Well, that's about 3 podcasts right there. You break them down.
Okay, thank you very much. All right.
We're done.